Some of you out there may be thinking about watching anime, but don't know where to start. Well, I hope to, with this video, get you started in your journey into anime. Anime is just short for animation, but solely talks about Japanese animation. But you should probably know that anime, like live action, comes in many different varieties. Also, animes for many different demographics. The four main demographics in anime are shonen, shoujo, josei, and seinen. Shonen shows are aimed at younger boys, about 10 to 18 years old. This is the most common demographic where most action shows sit. Shoujo shows are shows meant for younger girls, 10 to 18 years old. This is where most teen romance shows sit. Josei is aimed at women, 17 to 40. A lot of adult romances are josei. And finally, seinen, shows that are aimed at men 17 to 40. This is where the shows that deal with the heavy subjects. But you can find dark shonen like Attack on Titan, or read a light-hearted seinen like Barakamon. What I'm saying is, just because you see a show labeled for a certain demographic doesn't mean it won't appeal to you. This is pretty easy with the rise of the popularity of anime. More sites have popped up that stream anime. The biggest and most well-known of these sites is Crunchyroll, which have hundreds of shows, so you should be able to find something you want. But Crunchyroll is almost exclusively English subtitled with only a handful of English dubs. Hulu also has started expanding their catalog of anime. It may not be as big as Crunchyroll, but Hulu does have English dubs. There are other sites, of course. Funimation has started streaming shows that they have licensed on their website, but their web player is not as good as Hulu or Crunchyroll's. Another website for watching anime is Daisuki, who are pretty new and have a lot of more niche titles. Outside the US, there's also Anime Lab and others. If you want a more in-depth information, down in the description I'll have a link to a list of legal streaming sites. In America, there are a lot of major companies that release anime on Blu-ray and DVD. There are Funimation, Section 23, Aniplex USA, Discotek Media, Manga Entertainment, NIS America, Right Stuff, Viz, and the newly formed Ponycan USA. Funimation, Section 23, Aniplex, and Viz are the four biggest and the ones that release the most. Funimation is one of the oldest licensing companies still in business today. Some of their big shows are Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, One Piece, Fairy Tail, and Hatalia. The pros of Funimation is that they've released it will be dubbed, and their dubs are pretty good. And they have fairly affordable releases. The cons are their online media player is still not up to stuff. And sometimes the releases can be a little dark, and sometimes they overuse some voice actors. Section 23, or just Sentai Entertainment, is made up of former ADV people who didn't move to Funimation after ADV closed its doors. Some of their big shows are Log Horizon, Clanad, High School of the Dead, and No Game No Life. The pros of Section 23 is that they license a lot, so they have a very big catalog. And their releases are well priced. They don't drop as fast as Funimation's, but they still go down. You can watch all their shows on Crunchyroll and Hulu. The cons is their dubs are usually pretty average, and not all their shows get Blu-ray releases. While they are phasing out DVD-only releases, they still have a few. Viz Media aren't usually in the lineup of companies that license the season's newest anime. They usually pick up one or two titles every once in a while. Their big shows are Naruto, Bleach, Sailor Moon, and Death Note. The pros of Viz is that they have cheap releases and they produce very high quality dubs. They stream most of their shows. The cons that they only release 1 to 2 new shows a year. Aniplex USA is the US subsidiary of Aniplex, a company that releases anime in Japan, so they really only pick up shows that their parent company release. The pros of Aniplex is that they pretty much release everything that they license, and when they dub it, they usually get a very high quality dub. Their cons is that all their releases are extremely expensive, and sometimes their releases will only have a few episodes on it. Take the recent release of Valvrave the Liberator, for an example, which came with a poster, a few postcards, and maybe a few special discs with some bonus features. And it was over $100 for a 12-episode series. Or look at their Kill la Kill releases, which are each about $50. They come with plenty of specials. They only have 2 to 4 episodes on them. Small companies, on the other hand, instead of getting the latest and greatest, usually satisfy a niche. Discotheque release almost exclusively older series. Ponykin USA are so new that they haven't released anything. Manga hasn't released anything for quite a while now. NIS grabs titles that are a few years old that no one picked up, but have been starting dubbing their shows recently. And Right Stuff was just an online realtor until they announced that they would be bringing Gundam back to the US. And I'm happy about that. Anime, like everything else, falls into many different genres, but anime sometimes calls them by a different name. There are the obvious ones like action, sci-fi, romance, music, fantasy, historical, comedy, and so on. Moving on to some of the less obvious ones, we have mecha, which is just a subset of sci-fi which involves giant robots, like Pacific Rim. Slice of life shows, which most fall under the category of cute girls doing cute things, are like anime's response to typical sitcoms like Friends, 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, and That 70s Show. Magical girl anime shows usually aim at young girls who use magic to defeat bad guys. It's not really something that you see in the US too much, or I just don't have enough knowledge of cartoons for little girls to make any connections. Harem is a subset of romance in which a guy has a bunch of girls who are interested in him, or reverse harems is the opposite, a bunch of guys are interested in the girl. When starting to watch anime, you want to find a show that can be a good gateway into anime. If you live in the US, you can easily do this by watching Toonami on Adult Swim. Toonami shows a bunch of shows that are great shows to start with. None of the shows are too anime that will leave you confused. If you don't have access to Cartoon Network, try watching a show from your childhood like Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Shaman King, or many other anime you could watch on TV back in the 90s. Another good place to start is with the big 3, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. I myself started watching anime. I watched a bit of Naruto and marathoned a ton of Bleach. While there seems to be a stigma towards these shows in the anime community, they are good shows to start with. They have great action, just enough animeisms that you'll learn what they are without getting lost. Plus, you have no real fear of running out of episodes. From there you can go to sites like Crunchyroll, Hulu, or Netflix and find something that interests you, whether it be a really cool picture or an interesting description. Go forth and find something. Whether you want to watch 2 muscle-bound dudes screaming at each other, giant robots beating the crap out of each other, or tits and ass, whatever, it depends on you. Yes, there is. You can visit any anime site and you'll see a bunch of words you may not know. I already went over shonen, seinen, shoujo, and josei. Other terms you should know are moe or moe blob, which is a slang word for something that is adorable or cute. A season can refer to the second season of this or that, but an anime airs within 4 blocks of a year, referred to as seasons. A core means part of a show. If a show airing in 2 different seasons, it is referred to a 2-core show as it airs in the winter and spring season. Got it? A core is quite hard to explain. Series composition is the person in charge of the story of a certain anime and will also write the script, but not all the scripts. Loli is short for Lolita and refers to a young girl, or at least a young-looking girl. Shota is the male version of that. Ecchi means that there's a lot of sexualization in the show, so expect a lot of panty shots, boob grabs, accidental nakedness, and other stuff to that caliber. Traps are guys. It's a trap! Guys that look a lot like girls. And reverse traps are girls that look a lot like guys. Gender bender either means that someone will swap genders, either through body swapping, body modification, or other methods, or the show includes cross-dressing. Yuri means girls love, so if anything has Yuri, it has lesbians. Yaoi is the male version of Yuri. Other names for Yuri and Yaoi, Shoujo-ai and Shonen-ai. That's all you should need to know. The rest should be pretty self-explanatory. Now for this, you're going to need to pay for a Crunchyroll subscription, or just wait a week after the latest episode is released. Before you can start watching new anime, you need to have a pretty good knowledge of the 4 anime series, which last 13 weeks. The seasons are winter, which starts in January, usually the one with the least amount of shows and is considered the weakest season of the year. Spring, which starts in April, is one of the slower seasons of the year. Next is summer, which starts in July, and the wild card season is usually filled with a lot of hidden gems. And finally, there's fall, which starts in October and is considered the strongest season. Now you know about the seasons, you need to know what anime are airing during these seasons. You can do this by going to AnyChart or LiveChart, which lists what season an anime will air, and with a bunch of information about that series, and links to other sites where you can get even more information. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that you will be back tomorrow when I'll upload a video on getting into Tokusatsu. If you have any further questions, please post them in the comments section, and I'll try my best to answer them. And I hope to see you in the next video.